Who remembers Alex Jones? Alex Jones telling us that they're putting chemicals in the water, turning the friggin' frogs gay! They're making gay frogs! I won't stand for it! That guy. Who remembers that? Because I remember that. Now, what if I told you that another conspiracy theory about that level was happening, but the implications were actually worse than that? Well, apparently, in Iran, well, they're saying that people who are vaccinated for COVID become homosexuals. Now, why is this important? Aside from the fact that it's a batshit conspiracy theory, well, in Iran, you can be executed for being gay. Which means that if you get a COVID vaccine, they can argue that it has turned you gay so that they can then kill you. Let's go ahead and read the article. An Iranian regime cleric in the holy city of Qom on Tuesday issued a homophobic rant against people vaccinated for COVID-19, claiming that they become gay after receiving the vaccine. Ayatollah Abbas Tabrizian wrote on his Telegram social media platform, "Don't go near those who have the COVID vaccine. They have become homosexuals." The radical Islamist has nearly 210,000 followers on his Telegram account. So he's preaching this to a large audience. Tabrizian has a history of derogatory opinions about Western medicine. Last year, a video showed him burning Harrison's Manual of Medicine and saying that Islamic medicine had made such books irrelevant, according to an article on the website Radio Farda, the Iranian branch of the U.S.-funded Radio Free Europe Radio Liberty broadcast service. Like other clerics in the regime, also Tabrizian relates all shortages to sexuality. An Iranian dissident who fled the Islamic Republic due to Iran's repression told the Jerusalem Post on Sunday that the clerics in Iran are suffering from a lack of knowledge and humanity. Now, this is not an issue that is just prevalent in Islam. I have to point that out right now. There's going to be somebody in the comments section, I'm sure, who's going to go, see, this is the problem with Islam. And as much as you'd like to make that distinction, and as much as that's the super easy way to do this, the fact of the matter is, this is an issue of control. This is an issue of theocracy. Any theocracy would find itself creating extremist positions such as this. This is why we have to be against theocratic rule. Every single time that a Christian like Kent Hovind tries to tell us that theocracy is the best form of government, we merely have to point to stuff like this to show that no, that is not the case. Because this happens during majority Christian rule as well. We get the exact same stuff. Like all these talking points here, these are talking points that you could hear from the NIFB just as much as you hear from Islam. So if somebody wants to pop in with Islamophobia, I don't want to encourage that. I want to point out that this is an issue that merely stems from having theocratic control. Just imagine a world where the NIFB had control of the United States government. You would have this. This exact thing would happen. Anything they didn't like would be gay, and then anything that was gay could be shot. See, actually, his goal of spreading nonsense is to scare people out of getting vaccinated, while the leader of the regime and other officials got the Pfizer vaccine. And they don't provide it for people with the excuse that they don't trust the West. So, it seems that a lot of these issues are also clerical issues, right? Where they get to say that you don't want the vaccine is bad for you, it turns you gay. But the reality of the situation is that they just don't want to go through the hassle of distributing the vaccine, apparently. Which is just silly. According to Peter Tachel, an LGBTQ+ and human rights campaigner, Tabrizian combines scientific ignorance with a crude appeal to homophobia. Again, this is exactly what we get with the NIFB. This is identical to what we get. NIFB goes through the exact same steps as this, so if you're used to me covering Steven Anderson, you're already used to this. Then goes on to say that he's demonizing both the vaccination program and LGBT people without a shred of evidence. So, and here's how that's happening. One, you are pointing out that the public should not get vaccinated. That's already a scaremongering tactic. Two, you're saying that being homosexual is a negative. Like, honestly, if I get a vaccine and it turned me gay, who cares? What changes in my life? Oh, cool, now I'm attracted to guys? And? Like what? Why does that matter? Like, sure, that's inconvenient. Most of the porn that I look up is straight. But that doesn't fundamentally change anything about my life. By seeking to scare the public into not getting vaccinated against COVID-19, he is fueling the pandemic and putting lives at risk. Typical of many Iranian religious and political leaders, his bizarre, irrational claims scapegoat LGBT people to put theological prejudice before scientific knowledge. Again, this is NIFB playbook stuff already. Iran's regime executed 4,000 to 6,000 gay people and lesbians since the revolution in 1979, according to a 2008 British WikiLeaks cable. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Havid Zarif justified his regime's execution of gays in 2019. When questioned on why he does it, he said, "Our society has moral principles, and according to those principles, we live. These are moral principles regarding the behavior of people in general, and that is because the law is upheld and you abide by the laws." This is literally somebody just saying, I think being gay is bad, so it's okay for me to kill gay people. That's all this is. That's all this is. At the end of the day, this is just somebody... This is like when the United States had slavery. Not counting 13th Amendment slavery, we still technically have it. If we said our moral principles allow us to have slaves, we have laws that protect slave ownership, and we uphold those laws. Does that not sound like a bullshit excuse when I word it that way? Because I didn't word it practically any differently, not in form, than the way that the Iranian foreign minister worded it. I've said the exact same thing. It's an appeal to tradition, it's an appeal to law, and both of those are fallacies when it comes to trying to found a moral principle. In 2019, the Post reported that Iran's rulers publicly hanged a 31-year-old after being found guilty of violating the country's anti-gay laws. So, we have anti-science, we have science denialism here, not only arguing that they don't trust Western medicine because they don't think it's efficacious, they think Islamic medicine is better, but also they think that it's going to somehow turn someone gay, which means that there's a whole social misunderstanding of how people even come to have same-sex attraction in the first place. It's not a choice, and it's not something that just magically changes when you get an injection. And then, of course, we just have the homophobia attached to it as well, which I keep saying over and over again. I will say again, for the purpose of making sure that somebody doesn't come in here and just be an Islamophobe, I have to point out this is an issue of theocratic rule. This is an issue of religious extremism. This is not an issue of religion specifically. This is an issue of extremism. There are Muslims who have no problem with gay people. There are Muslims who are not anti-science. This, however, is an issue of a regime. This is an issue of a country engaging in theocratic rule and harming its citizens because apparently clerical convenience and fallacious appeals to tradition. That's it. This is something that needs to be handled. Honestly, I think the UN needs to step in on something like this. This is gross. Not only should we not abide a country that is executing its citizens for the mere crime of being born differently, but on top of that, this is a country that is now putting its people at risk during a pandemic as a result of the pandemic. As for what we can do about this, I don't know. I do not know. I know as individuals we don't have a whole lot of power, and I don't know how much sway the UN actually has in issues like this. But I know that this is gross, this is dangerous, and I would like to see some kind of resolution. But I don't have much more to say on that particular article. So, if you enjoyed this video as much as you can say that you enjoyed something like this, please leave a like, please share with your friends, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you would like to support my channel and what I do, the best ways to do it are supporting by commenting, hitting the like button, and also checking the description and seeing if you would like to support the channel via Patreon or any of the outlets listed below. If you would like to see more of my content, please hit the bell icon. And also, most importantly, I hope you all have a wonderful day. As always, insert end of video tagline here.